Welcome everybody to Ask the Devs, aka questions and answers from the official IP Deathmatch developers. I'm your host, 90s, and this is the first...
You suck, Nines!
Fine, I get it. My videos are cringe, I suck at CCBM, my English accent is monkey level. Okay, I get it, I can't do this. I'll just let Nebula take the wheel for me. So... take it away, Nebula. The podcast is all yours, my friend. God.
Welcome everybody to Ask the Devs, aka questions and answers from the official Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch developers. I'll be your moderator for tonight, Nebula, and this is probably the first and last time we'll do this with the official devs, so it's quite important for all of us. I'd like to thank our hosts, Ninnies, for kind of getting everything together and setting this all up, but man, 10 years of 8-bit mayhem. Can you believe it? The game came out when I was like 9 years old. Fun fact. Well, anyways, let's please welcome the guests from the official developing team, Russell, Freems, and Corby. How are you guys doing tonight? Happy 10th anniversary.
Not feeling.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm gonna be answering some questions and or answers.
Answering some answers, thanks, friends.
That's great to know. Thank you so much for being here. This is quite the honor. Alright, before we start with the questions, I just want to congratulate you guys and the official 8-bit Deathmatch team for a successful launch on V6. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Hooray. Thank you. I can now sleep in peace.
It was a long time coming. It really was.
Everyone loved it. The new bosses, story progression, the maps. Although I've heard MM10 PUM is quite contentious. Sorry, Russell. Anyways, is there anything you guys want to say before we get started, or?
Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing. But yeah, like, having worked on this game for almost the entire 10 years that it's been out, it really is amazing the amount of people who have spent time with it and how far it's come since, like, the V1 days. A lot of my time has been spent playing or working on this game, and I don't know, it's just really cool to see something that I love so much being enjoyed by people. So
Honestly,
thanks to the players.
Honestly, yeah, thanks a ton for the support from the community here, because it's like, I've seen a lot of really positive energy, especially like post V6 launch. And that's been extremely encouraging, and honestly, like, seeing all of the happy reactions has just made all of it like even more worth it. This Mega Man fan game has had 6 releases, and we still haven't covered all of the content.
6 numbered releases.
6 numbered releases, you're right. Yeah, I remember the sub versions, V6, V5B, V6B. Wow, I'm already used to saying that. V5B, V5C, V5D, things like that, where like things, yeah.
Alright, great. I'll start asking questions. Okay, so this first question just kind of goes out to everyone, and is a Mega Man 11 themed campaign planned for the future of 8-bit Deathmatch? And alongside this, what about the double gear system?
Mega Man 11 is happening. Whoa.
Yeah. Mega Man
Confetti.
11, we pretty much planned to do it as shortly after it was announced. There was a bit of internal panic when it was first announced, because what is V6 was pretty much the plan since long before 11 was announced, and we had a little bit of a dilemma on our hands when it did get announced, but we basically decided to just release V6 as you guys got it, and do 11 afterwards as more of a side sort of thing. And as for the double gear system, there's, like, this is relatively far in the future, so I can't really say anything concrete. But there have been, like, some passing thoughts on it. It is something personally that I would like to include, but we'll see when we get closer to like starting 11 development how that goes.
I don't want to see any YouTube comments saying "Where's Mega Man 11?" because you're
Yeah.
all gonna be waiting. We're not starting right away. No, but it was
Yeah,
it.
like real quick on that
hmm
point, Frames. Um, the thing about Mega Man 11 is it will take a very long while even after development actually starts. It's much like Mega Man 8 and Base, where we have to make all of the textures, skins, sprites, sounds, all of that stuff wholesale.
Right. And
So
this
that's
time, sorry, I'm going to interrupt the start of your sentence or middle of your sentence with the start of mine.
okay.
This time it's even harder with 11 because we don't have like an already established FC project to grab any graphics or music from, or like NemZ's tiles, which we used for and base. We have to pretty much create all of that stuff in house, and that's going to take a while. Or what were you gonna say though, Russell?
That's it.
Okay,
That's
okay.
all I was gonna say.
I don't suppose that it might be nice to have like the 3D models because then you can, toss those in Blender and you kind of have reference for the rotations.
Yeah, from what Peg has told me, it is like infinitely easier to work on like graphics for Mega Man 11 in that regard compared to something like and Base or 8, simply because they already have like both accessible rotations and like really expressive animations for generally the stuff that we use.
We
So,
don't need
like,
to
for
invent a
example,
walking animation for Blockman.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Blockman has like the best walking animation in the series. So
that's such a good take.
yeah,
It's a true take. It's but it is worth noting that with Mega Man 11, just to quell any fears, because I've seen a lot of people in like the YouTube comments be like, "How is Mega Man 11 ever gonna work after V6? Like, how is it ever gonna be better?" And the answer is, it won't.
yeah,
V6 is the big end of the campaign. It's the big finale. Mega Man 11 will have a campaign of some sorts, but consider it more like they commissioned a Christmas special for the series that just ended, and it really has little to do with anything, and it's just silly,
It's the bottle
lighthearted fare.
episode.
It's not gonna have a story arc because we don't know what else is happening. It's gonna be a one-off episode of Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch.
All right. If everyone's good with that, I'd like to move on to the next question.
sure.
That's fine.
How do you guys feel about reaching like such a peak, knowing that your WAD is one of the most played in the online Doom community?
It's pretty cool. Like I've talked to people in real life and like either mentioned 8-Bit Deathmatch or like heard them mention it even, and just the amount of people that I've met that have heard of it or like played it offline is like really cool, considering that's just like near me.
I mean, it's a very cool concept.
Yeah, I mean it's Doom but Mega Man. That's
Yeah.
a sick concept, and it's why I've been around for 10 years, because those are two things that I like a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much my answer on that.
It's really neat. That's that meme of Marge Simpson with the potato or whatever.
I just think they're neat.
It's neat. I don't know. It's weird, but not in a bad way.
It's also weird to me because, like, I don't even consider it one of the most played mods in the Doom community, because I'm thinking, like, the usual suspects you'll see on Doomseeker.
Complex.
Yeah, like complex or brutal or things like that. Like the stuff that most people will think of when they think of Doom mods. And it is weird to me to think that 8-bit Deathmatch is up there when it probably is, considering it's had this player base for 10 years.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about it like that.
We're in a weird limbo where it's hard to consider ourselves a Doom mod, but we're also not really a Mega Man fan game because we're a Doom mod. Despite being
Yeah.
Mega Man, it's not a Mega Man game technically.
I mean,
It quacks like a duck and it moves like a duck, but it doesn't act like a duck.
yeah. The
That's
way I like to
terrifying.
think of the way
Okay,
I like to think
Wait, I worded that poorly. Quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, doesn't move like a duck. There we go.
We're in a nebulous void.
Nebulous.
you're in my void.
What?
Can I
Yeah.
get out.
This has gotten strange. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Next,
All right.
please.
What is every dev's favorite weapon?
Hard knuckle. I don't think anyone who knows me will be like surprised to hear that that's my favorite weapon.
Of course.
I am long known for like in duel tournaments bringing people to Mega Man 1, Dr. Wily 1, entirely because there's a hard knuckle right there.
Yep.
And people dueling against me generally have to consider whether or not hard knuckle is on the map when they bring me there, and develop strategies around that. Aside from that, Bubble Bomb is my other favorite weapon, just because I really like that one.
But why?
It's just fun to use.
It is pretty entertaining to use.
Okay, that's good
It's
enough.
strong and fun to use. And it used to be stronger before I nerfed it like 4 times.
It was
Oops.
a very scary weapon.
It was. How about you, Freeman?
So here's the thing. I'm not very good at Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch for the PC entertainment system. Despite working on it, I am, you could call me hot garbage. It used to be Slash Claw because that is like a no-brain weapon for that exact reason. You just
Oh,
walk
yeah.
up and be like, maybe I will now do damage to you and kill you.
You
And it
just
was
walk
good.
up and click on people.
But I think, and this is like a really simple choice, I can't tell you why it's my favorite weapon because it makes absolutely no sense, but I really like Thunderbolt from Mega Man 7.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you why. I just like hitting people with it.
No, that's a good one. It feels solid to use.
There's very little special things that are special about it, but I shoot someone, I get a pow sound effect, I'm like, yeah, I did that. And that's all I got.
Ah, geez. Okay. See, it's hard for me because it's like I developed 20 weapons for this version.
Mhm.
Jeez.
Which one of your children do you like more?
Yeah.
If it was like still in beta, I would probably say Deep Digger because fun fact of the day, at one point during development, you could fire both rocks from Deep Digger at the same time.
Roughly.
It wasn't a good idea, but it was really fun to use. It was a
I
very
assume it
bad
was
idea
very
for
strong.
balance. It was a very bad idea for balance because you would really have no choice but to throw both rocks at once at pretty much any
Yeah.
time. But it was a lot of fun. Now I think I would say either Photon Missile or Copy Vision. And I just think Copy Vision's a lot of fun, and being a person who formerly mained Frostman, I'm very good at aiming long charge shots like that.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily a dev, but I'd kind of like to give my answer just to contribute to discussion. I am
Sure.
incredibly partial to the Proto Buster. I think it's one of the best weapons in the game. It's super, it's snappy. I just love it.
So what you're saying is I need to nerf it again next
No,
version.
I'm not saying that. Please stay away from my meme gun.
Excuse me. That's a buster upgrade, not a weapon. We're gonna have to restart.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've nerfed it in every single version, like almost every single version for the past 3. I made it. What was it?
It charges longer.
Yeah.
You don't have the shield when charging. I believe that's right, right?
That happened.
Yeah,
first,
that was version 5.
Yeah. You don't have the shield when charging. I believe the shield comes up later after firing. The charge takes longer, and it didn't get a damage buff with 6A coming.
Well, none of the buster upgrades got a damage buff.
Yeah, but it still counts as a nerf to Proto
Fun
Buster.
fact: there was 10 seconds where the buster upgrades did get a damage buff, and it was the
God,
worst
why?
experience of all time.
Yeah, that was
Buffing
immediately
Base Buster.
reverted.
Oh no.
Sometimes you have to test mistakes to truly understand the hubris you have committed.
Hard Knuckle was doing 86 damage until like a week before 6A was released.
Wait, does it? It doesn't do it doesn't do 86 damage anymore?
This
No,
movie,
we lowered it.
by 6. It's a more clean 80 right now.
Yeah.
My entire life, it's just. I've been playing a lot of classes recently, which
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay,
how
I
dare
see
you?
flat 80 now. Okay.
one of the things that we forgot to account for was the damage buff. And I
Uh-huh.
will say there is nothing more like infuriating than playing Gutsman, turning a quarter and taking a third of your health.
That's what you get for playing Guts, man.
That's fair, but sometimes I just want to throw funny rock. All right. And then up next, I have a question directed specifically for Freems.
Wow.
How do you feel about the campaign and how it's evolved and improved over time?
It's weird that this is a question just for me, because out of the 3 of us, I've been the one on the dev team the least. But I will answer it regardless, because I wasn't actually on the dev team until slightly before V5A started, and I was only there to do Mega Man 7 covers originally. Just fate happened, and then I ended up doing more things. So for the first 4 versions, I was just Joe Schmo on my computer playing the game. And I wasn't very good at it. I was cheating for freaking Yellow Devil because my 12-year-old brain was like, I can't dodge the attack!
Well, I mean, everybody cheated on Yellow Devil.
It's baby's first boss fight.
Speak for yourself.
But it's very interesting, I think, because starting from version 3, the campaign really changed, like became something more. Because before then, it was just throwaway garbage.
Yeah, it was just kind of an excuse.
It's like you got to fight Met Daddy. Yay! What a great time that used to be. And then it's like, oh, here's the Mega Man 7 chapter. You fight the Wily Capsule. Surprise, surprise. Okay, call it a day. The Mega Man 8 chapter, the format for the bot matches didn't really change at all. But Light's Lab became more of a hub. You could talk to the robot masters. It's like, whoa, this is a cool little thing. And then the final boss was this completely out of nowhere guy with his own original theme song. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, I didn't even like.
What is
I started
happening?
playing around V3, and I just like cheated my way through most of the chapters. I think that was the first. It was one of the first boss fights that I legitimately sat down and I was like, I'm gonna learn this.
I remember being so excited when we were going to release V3, just because like I was super excited to see players' reactions to Evil Robot.
Yeah.
It's the bad guy robot from the Mega Man 8 intro that existed for 3 seconds.
I had no idea I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I was fighting him, and I like never played Mega Man 8 at the time, so I'm like, is this a song from Mega Man 8? I don't remember this song in my ears before. What is taking place currently? And it was a good time. And then V4 has this dramatic minute-long cutscene before you fight King. And I'm like, what is this Avengers movie I'm watching right now?
Yeah, I'm like, what is happening?
And then I was on the dev team for V5, and all the mysteries were up. But I think V5B was really important because we were sitting. V5B like changed the entire campaign, and that really only happened originally because we were waiting for a new Xandronum version to come out, because V5B was meant to make it compatible with I think it was Xan 3.0.
Yeah, 3.0.
And so we had to wait for it, and Mike was sitting down and was like, okay, I'm going to take the Mega Man Killer boss fights, because at the time they were just bots and not really well designed in the slightest. He's like, I'm just going to make these actual bosses. And then it's like, well, what about Doc Robot? That's also bots. It's like, well, I've got ideas for that. And then we did that, and it's like, oh, well, now how about we redo Met Daddy while we're here? And why don't we...
And it just kind of cascaded from there.
Why don't we do this, and that? And
then it became a full campaign rework.
And then it was... Then you could actually play the whole game from like start to finish reasonably.
And
There's
then Freeman and
now.
Freeman and I shoehorned friggin' Mega Man question mark in there as hard as we possibly could.
Yeah, you want to know why Mega Man question mark's in here? There are 2 people in the world who like that character before Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch, and it just so happened to be me and Corby. And he comes up to me, he's just like, I want a Mega Man question mark mini boss fight, and I'm like, how about 3? And we're like, Mike, it's happening. He's like, okay.
You do not have a choice. Here is all of the.
Here is
data.
Silly Scarf Man. He's a jerk.
Actually,
Frames, I love him.
Well, I have one correction to the thing you said previously.
That is
I don't think all of the mysteries were revealed to us when V5 was being put together.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the one cutscene.
Is this
is
this cooking with Wily?
the Wily cooking with Wily.
Yeah, Mike. Man. Mike was just like, here's this thing I've worked on. Take a look. Wily's cooking egg. It's like, okay, but I'm getting very sidetracked off the question right now. But
Sorry.
And so V6 just comes out the gate. Mike's like, here's my V6 ideas. We're gonna try to add something new to a million different bot matches to the best of our ability, because you do bot matches 100 times in a row, sometimes you get a little tired.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the chains we've binded ourselves in. I sometimes see people as like, well, why don't you just make single player stages? I'm like, well, that's kind of against the point, because like, isn't campaign showing off the deathmatch matches, and how else do you do that besides fighting bots?
I, as someone who is not like on the dev team or really has any say in anything, if the entire campaign had been in the style of Chapter 13, people probably would have eaten that up.
Well, I would agree, but it is too late now, my friend.
It is far too late now.
That wasn't in the cards, to my understanding, at all when 8-Bit Deathmatch started, and I'm of the mind that taking exactly what Chapter 13 does and applying it to the rest of the game also makes Chapter 13 less cool.
Unique.
By proxy of it being the rest of the game. So this is the bed we lie in, and we must deal with it.
I'm actually even more appreciative of that, because it's like, it sort of shows how far like Cutman Mike has come as a developer.
Yeah. It's come from like very, rudimentary, like here's 6 bot matches and then a simple boss fight. To here's like this campaign, and it's got, a story and lore and like little hidden tidbits.
While we're talking about this, V5B and all that, I've deemed myself offhand the lore master when it comes to how campaign is built, because when the game starts, nobody cares. You fight Yellow Devil, and for V5B, I sat down, I'm like, okay, Oil Man's and Turbo Man stage, this canonically doesn't make sense. Get him out of here. Space and Knife Man, I don't think so. And just, I'm doing this, I'm like, why am I making Mega Man fanfiction currently? But that's kind of the state of campaign at this point, isn't it? It's all just one big Mega Man fanfiction.
Yeah. Hey, at some point, if you guys need testers or another lore master, I'm not saying contact me, but
I've got all the lore in my head. All the Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch plot questions. Ask and you shall not receive if I don't want to tell you.
On the subject of the lore that Freeman just dropped with the bots and the stages, it is important to look at who is where and why, because as some people may or may not notice, certain bots never appear in the campaign beyond certain points or before certain points. And pretty much all of the bot choices in stages are intentional. One of my favorite examples of this, I believe it's still the case, that on Concrete Man's stage, Wave Man and Stone Man show up, and that is entirely a reference to like a really old Sprite comic where the two combine into Concrete Man before Concrete Man existed.
I don't even know if they're still on there.
I don't know.
That's something I'd have to check, and I do not
Yeah,
want to
that's
right
something
now.
we'd have to check.
But it's the bot choices have a bunch of stupid lore things. Like throughout the
Yeah.
entire Mega Man 9 chapter, the Cossack bots are showing up like one last time. Like each 9 map has a Mega Man 4 Robot Master on it because that's them doing their little spy stuff. Because that spoilers, that was planned the whole time. You won't see the 9 masters before 9, but you will see the 10 masters in the robot tourney because they're just random robots. So why wouldn't they show up for this tournament? Strikeman wants to win some cash.
Wave Man and Stone Man are on Concrete Man, just for reference.
Nice.
Good to know. So I guess the end is that it's very cool how it's evolved from random bot matches that don't matter to random bot matches that still don't matter, but at least there's thought put behind them to an extent.
My favorite.
It all means something for fan fiction or whatever.
My favorite is on Gemini Man's map. There are 2 Gemini Man bots.
Yeah.
That's such a cool touch.
That's just my favorite.
I will make.
I'm sure whoever was writing out the bot info at that time wrote that down and was just like, yeah.
That was actually a suggestion on the forums from forever ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I wasn't aware of that.
It might have been Shade Guy who suggested that. That's just pulling a name out of my butt, though. I think
Nice
I
catch.
forget who that was. But yeah, that was a suggestion on the forums, and Mike was like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yeah.
I will
All
make
right.
one last amendment to all this bot talk. We say they all have purpose, but that's not exactly true, because Hardman's only on Mega Man 9 Dr. Wily 1 because he's my favorite Robot Master, and I made the map, and I said, hey, Mike, go put Hardman on my map. It'll put dopamine into my brain.
All right, we should probably move on for the sake of timeliness.
Mm-hmm.
5-hour long video.
Yeah, honestly. What could we expect future dev time to go towards now that the campaign is finished?
Tile sets.
Mega Man 11.
Yeah.
Pretty much covered in.
Not counting Mega Man 11.
If we're not counting 11?
Well, I'm saying more of like, because there is going to have to be an inevitable 6B where, I mean, you got basic things like the bug fixes, the balance things, the givens. I know that a thing we want to do, and I'm going to say this, but it means I'm not making a promise, but it's likely we'll do it, is go back and redo some of the old tile sets, most notably in Mega Man 8. Because
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was
Rockman 8
FC
certainly gave us tile sets.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're always good.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like a lot during 6. They were like, man, these Mega Man 8 tile sets, but man, we also have a lot of things we need to work on, so we do not have time for this right now. So the likelihood of that happening is pretty high before Mega Man 11.
I know personally, this was something I wanted to try and do during 6A, but didn't find the time. And Maxine recently made a post about it on the forums. I do want to take a look at CTF and see if there's like changes that we can make, both in terms of weapon layout and potentially weapon behavior, to see if like we can do anything to make that mode
playable.
Yeah, playable.
Let's make a football?
No.
That's a joke.
One thing I really want to do for future version is update the code base so that it's easier to mod.
Yeah.
Like I've already got a list of things I want to do, like multiplicative power-ups for like jumping and gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can define a power-up that multiplies your jump height by like 1.5 or 0.8 or like
Yeah.
whatever, and
So we
those
could do that with,
can
like,
stack.
Star Crash or something, you know? You activate Star Crash and it boosts your jumps.
Yeah, or you can make it so that concrete shot, instead of launching you to the floor, actually disables your jump.
What?
Yeah, like that's something that is currently not a thing because the only way to you can't really multiply these things. You can't really stack things like that very easily right
Yeah.
now. So I want to make a framework to do that. I want to make a framework to make it easier to add custom weapons. A whole bunch of stuff. I've been working with Trillster on a couple of these things too, and that's exciting. Don't know when that's going to happen, but hopefully
It'll
sometime
happen
in
at
the
some point.
future. I need to hibernate first for like a year.
Yeah. Oh my god, please take your time. Oh. Here's a funny question for you guys that I'm sure won't induce anxious breakdowns.
Oh, good.
Say a hypothetical Mega Man 12 releases. Would we get another expansion?
Listen, I've gone on record multiple times saying there isn't a game that I would love to play more that I do not ever want to come out more than Mega Man 12. If that could not happen, I would be fine.
I've joked before that if they announce Mega Man 12, I'm just gonna quit the dev team straight up. I think like if it actually did come out, I would want to try and work on it.
Yeah.
But that would be like, if I'm being generous with whenever 11 comes out, let's say like 2 or 3 years, that would probably be 6 years from now. And that would be...
And by then, Mega Man 13 has been announced. And
Oh,
oh
God.
God.
Yeah, we'll see if we get there. But
Yeah.
Eventually,
the
I
air
would
right
like
now.
to sleep.
Yes.
I have other projects, but I mean, I also I don't mind doing a whole lot of work. Like
I'll do it.
I
'cause I'm
mentioned,
spiteful.
I made 20 maps for versions, or not 20 maps, 20
Whoa.
weapons,
Not-
20 weapons for version 6. And I also made 7 maps, which if for anybody in the house taking notes, that's like a quarter of the maps that went into this
Because
version.
there was 24 maps in the update, yeah.
25.
25?
3 Wily 1 was secretly
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
the background, but it's easy to miss that one.
Yeah.
well, what about the new Pirate Man? Does that count?
It replay.
I think I was counting those. Like
So then
close
that-
to close to a quarter, maybe a little bit more of
Yeah.
the maps that went into version 6. So would I do it again? Absolutely. I love making shit. When it will get done is a question though, because I do have like 30 other projects. I am always busy.
Many things to work on.
Listen, Mega Man 12 comes out. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and there's gonna be a million YouTube comments saying, "Where's Mega Man 12?" And I'm just gonna be
I'm
like,
so
"No."
sorry.
I'll have the weapon pack
Oh,
for
I'm
you
so
in a
sorry.
day. Don't worry, guys.
It's true. And then it
This
has
is
another,
actually true.
shield weapon.
This is
Oh my
actually
god.
true. I've
If
had
12
Mega
has
Man
a
11
shield
weapons
weapon,
already
I'm going
exist?
to like... I'm gonna kill someone.
weapons are fun. Weapons are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think I don't think it's an exaggeration. This is a little bit off track, I guess, kind of, but I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that the weapons for Mega Man version 6 have been, at least in terms of design, finished since like the beginning of last year.
Wow.
I had them done very quickly.
Except for Black Hole, we ruminated on that one for a while.
Yeah.
Actually, well, no, I remember implementing that one. pretty
Electric
quickly,
Shock
too.
took longer because we had
Oh yeah,
that
because
old
we had
idea
multiple
for it.
I
drafts
have a
of
V6
that.
Yeah.
question. Speaking of electric shock,
Mhm.
will we see nerfs for this weapon?
It is currently bugged, so
There's currently
yeah.
a typo
Wait.
in the code, I guess, so that would explain it.
What?
Yeah,
Um,
you know how it has actually fucking atrocious hits done.
Essentially that.
Remember how I
Essentially that.
said I made weapons very quickly?
Yeah. No.
There's a typo on the damage type.
Oh,
It says, I believe it says electric shock.
It's electric shock in the
Oh,
damage type,
no.
but the player class accepts electric shock as the no stun.
So that'll be fixed. I feel
Oops.
more bad, but then like I was watching like videos about like Doom and just like in Doom 2, like there's a typo in the code that makes 30 things not work. I'm like, I guess we're not so bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
I don't
Speaking
mind.
of things being cobbled together very quickly, I do have our next question.
Mhm.
That's terrifying.
What would you guys say was the most agonizing part of V6 development?
I can name at least 5 things, and at least 4 of them I shouldn't say.
Oh,
I have
What's the one you
an
can?
answer for this, and it's entirely this just absolutely infuriates me because it's the one thing that I think I struggled the most with, even though it took me like maybe 2 days to finish off. But like it's the thing that I struggled the most with, and when it released, it still doesn't work in certain circumstances, and it drives me up the wall. You know how the music for
Oh.
Mega Man 8, 10, Mega Man K Enk, Mega Man K Pun, Mega Man K Ball, like
yeah,
all those maps, how you have music choices for those in the menus?
yeah.
Those do not work in resetting game modes like Duel, Last Man Standing, Team Last Man Standing, Possession maybe,
Oh, no.
Team Possession. Basically any game mode with a countdown, it does that. Those music choices don't work, and I have no idea why that's the case, but I struggled with that stupid choice thing for a
They-
long time because client-side scripts fucking suck. But yeah, no, it's just ask about agony, you will have me curse. I'm sorry. That was the hardest part for version 6 for me. And that's saying a lot because there was quite a few challenges. Water Shield was another one actually.
Water Shield's also
Oh.
really good.
Right.
Very strong.
Yeah, okay, so trying to like there's a couple of hacks in that one.
Yeah.
If you peek into the code, you'll notice that there's like this thing that under very specific circumstances toggles no interaction on the bubbles, which makes it so that they pass through objects, but only on the client. This is kind of technical, but if that was not there, online, the bubbles would bounce around and clip up structures on the client side only. So, like, if you used Water Shield and then stood next to one of those tall ledges on a Lekman, you'd see the bubbles like teleport to the top of those ledges as you were like standing next to it.
Yeah. And that's
And
like, they connected.
that
Why am I not?
it doesn't actually go up there at all. Those there are not hitboxes up there. It doesn't deal any damage. It just looks like it's going up there.
Yeah.
That never happened offline. That only happened online.
That's
So I made a thing that toggled it so that it didn't do that online. And then I found another issue involving that specific hack.
Oh no.
If Water Shield's bubbles touch a line horizon, so like where the sky and the floor meet,
Yeah.
the bubble will just kind of get stuck there online. And then it'll pop after a little bit.
I think certain projectiles do that. I think Crystal Eye does that. Or
I don't think it ever
walls.
disappears. I don't think it ever pops. That's the problem.
Like, yeah, before it never popped, like, at all.
Oh.
So it would just kind of visually be there. It doesn't have a hitbox. It doesn't actually physically exist. It's just, stuck there.
Yeah.
It'll pop after, I think it's 2 seconds. I gave the timeout to be 2 seconds for that. Before it was less than 1 second, and if you had a tremendous lag spike, all of your bubbles would pop on your screen only.
No.
On your screen only. They would work fine for everybody else.
Oh,
You just
boy.
wouldn't see them.
God love
Yeah.
the Andro engine.
Edit this image into the video, right? There you go.
Water Shield was the hardest weapon. Water Shield was the hardest weapon. Hardest thing to code was the music choices, and the music choices don't even work. So, yeah, that's my most agonizing take.
On the subject of being hard to code, this isn't quite as agonizing for me as it was some other people in the dev team. But one of the worst parts, I would say, would be there was a length of time when Mike was working on the bosses for V6 where we a lot of the people on the dev team were finished with what they could work on at that point. So at that point we were kind of waiting on like graphics for the bosses.
Yeah.
And for the bosses themselves to be worked on. So there was a pretty decently long stretch of time where a few of us had to just sit there and twiddle our thumbs while we waited for
Like things.
the
to happen.
campaign stuff to get done.
Yeah.
Remember when there was a long drought in my forum posts, like before Strikeman?
I think so.
That's
yeah.
why. And
Yeah.
that's no like you should have been done faster, crack the whip.
Yeah, no, that's
I mean, it
just,
was
like-
very hard things to make.
Yeah, dev stuff happens. Things take
And
time.
real life also happens.
Right.
Because Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch is not a job.
Yeah.
It's a thing people do in their free times.
I think we all wish it was. Getting paid for playing competitive Mega Mans.
If I was getting paid, then yeah, Mega Man 12, let's go.
I actually wouldn't want this to be my paid job.
Yeah, me neither, to be honest.
I'll take Mega Man 12 alone.
Because if it was to be a paid thing, then that means we would be on fixed deadlines. We would probably end up being subjected to crunch, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm very glad that we have the casual, free-to-play video game dev environment. It's very nice. It's very pleasant. And
That being said, Capcom, if you want to buy this game off of us,
okay.
I'll
give you something agonizing real quick, and it's a lot less than the others because luckily I don't need to worry about the code because I have a monkey brain and I don't do the code.
Me too.
However, what I did need to worry about was Terra's stupid boss theme, because originally Mike was like, Terra doesn't need a boss theme, and I'm sitting here in the corner. I'm like, yes, he does. We're not gonna give this guy the Mega Man V boss theme unedited. And I'm like, I'll make him a boss theme. Here's a fun fact: Terra's theme is trash. Not the one in the game. His like normal theme for Mega Man V is absolute garbage. Listen, it goes like and that's all it does for 30 years. And I'm like, can I make a song based on this? Long answer, not easily.
No.
And I
honestly think
I had like 10 different drafts, and like one of them, I'm like, part of this sounds cool. I'm like, Orange Mario, can he do anything with this? And then he's like, yeah. And then he made a really good boss theme. I'm like, okay.
I personally think that Terra's theme was one of the coolest compositions in the newest update.
It's cool now. It wasn't cool at the start.
That's fair. All right. As I'm reading this question, I noticed that it may be difficult for here to answer this, but this one goes out to the art team. And what challenges do you face in moving these characters to a 3D environment?
I can answer that question for you.
Oh God, it's him.
Behold, it's me, the man.
Is that Peg 8-Bit Deathmatch the sole
Peg
creator
8-Bit
of Mega Man
Deathmatch
8-Bit
real?
Deathmatch?
Wow, is that
Peg
Peg
Sprite
here
Man?
to play Quake 2 for us?
I'm sorry, I can't do this.
There you go.
Hi,
Hello.
surprise guest, me. So, I suppose to answer the question, there's a lot of different factors that go into making skins. Primarily, the challenge comes from trying to take the real issue comes with trying to take like the 2D sprites from the original game, right? Like especially from Mega Man V, where the sprites in that game were abysmal. So trying to convert those, not only just to rotate them, but also to like convert them to be more like the NES Mega Man games, right? More in style with those.
I shouldn't say.
It was a bit challenging, but I think it worked out in the end. In particular, I think 8-Bit Deathmatch converts the Star Droids to the NES style the best out of any Mega Man fan project I've seen, but that's tooting my own horn. In the subject of 3D, sometimes specific poses from different angles can be kind of difficult. Like sometimes you'll see characters when they're in their firing frame. Oh, Strikeman, yeah. Characters in their firing frames can like lean forward or back with their legs, and sometimes trying to adapt that in certain angles, specifically like the angles to the back and right, the 6-4 frames, the technical name. But the legs from that angle specifically can be very difficult. You'll often see skins just cheating by mirroring the legs from the front right frames just to make it look nice, because like you can see an attempt to make it look accurate in skins like Mars, where instead of just mirroring the legs, I tried to make it look like his legs were actually how they would look in that 3D space, but it just didn't end up looking nice. So it's a very difficult thing to do. And I suppose an honorable mention goes to Strikeman, the most abysmal skin in the world to do, because so I wanted Strikeman to have a really interesting and dynamic run cycle where he kind of ran like a baseball player, right?
And he's gonna get you.
He's gonna get you. But the issues came in when Strikeman, baseball players, so they have very heavy shoulder movement when they run. Most people do, right? But baseball players in particular do. So it's really difficult to have heavy shoulder movement when your face is on your chest.
Yeah.
Because like you have your, actually I have a sheet of this that I can actually share of an old Strikeman running animation. Let me just get this up here. Yeah, it was entirely completed. It just looked really bad in game. Another thing I really wanted was a more dynamic throwing animation for Strikeman.
Yeah, for ball throwing.
Because I wanted him to throw like a baseball player, but again, his face is on his chest. I can't really maneuver Strikeman's body as much as I'd like to be have been able to. The skin went through so many different revisions over the years, to the point where like my initial revisions were done before I was even on the development team. I was so a fun fact regarding the skins. I feel like I'm getting off topic a little here, but a lot of the skins for the Star Droids, for those who play this game online, you might have seen them beforehand in classes mods, right? Because they were originally made for those mods. It wasn't until I joined the development team like, hey, V6 is also Mega Man V. Can we just use these ones? I was like, yeah, sure, because I already had them all made. But as an unfortunate side effect, after doing basically every star, actually, no, I think I did every Star Droid aside from Terra.
Did Mercury?
Yeah, well, no, I did Mercury, just not.
I think
in
in classes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in classes. I'm still suffering from the burnout from making every Star Droid.
Yeah, that would have just been.
Yeah, but so those are just some of the challenges, I suppose, adapting characters into the third dimension. Mega Man sprites are abysmal. Sometimes the style is never consistent. Art sucks. Never do art.
I honestly think that something more in line of like the Mega Mix kind of art style and kind of it would be hell. It would be awful to make.
Yeah, but it would be pretty because Gigamix is a beautiful looking manga. I love the designs on that.
Mm-hmm. Like the fact that they just like pay attention and kind of take care to make sure that everything they can do in these games has like an explanation.
Yeah, like everything works physically.
It's like, why does Metal Man jump high? Oh, it's because he's got boosters on his feet.
Yeah, or why can like Cut Man and Metal Man, they have like grips on their gloves, and like Turbo Man has a very detailed transformation sketched out in his pages. Needle and some characters take some really cool creative liberties, like Needle Man with his
his like minigun.
The belt bed.
Yeah,
my personal favorite will always be Top Man. I think they knocked it out of the park with his design.
So
I suppose that's a bit off topic.
Yeah.
On the subject of bringing Peg onto the dev team, it should probably be mentioned that the Rothor skin was made in like a day.
What?
The day we brought him onto the dev team.
They were like, make Rothor, and I did it.
And you just sort of kept going, and I believe I had to tell you to like chill out because you just kept going.
Kept
I was
Like,
really
we
excited.
We didn't need it like instantly. I
That's
was
really
I was
funny.
definitely worried that Peg was going to burn himself out.
3D art pains. Hands.
As someone who's made a few skins for this game, I can also touch on the fact that making skins for this game is ass. It most certainly is. I look back at the ones that I made and cry a little on the inside every time I look at them. So yeah, um, I have massive respect for the spiders on our team for
Yeah.
being good at what they do.
I wanted nothing more than to him to have an evil laugh. And
Eclipse
I
poggers.
got my wish.
When are we getting an Eclipse poggers?
It's
Never.
not physically possible. Actually, I suppose it is. Because he's like, he can malform his face and all that stuff.
When will it happen?
No, just make the skull on Wily Star do it. With the eye in it and everything.
Yeah, a little eyeball will poke out.
Oh,
Dude, the
man.
little eyeball in Wily Star. I think that was Freems' idea to make that expressive, and it was a really great idea on their part.
All right. This next one kind of goes out to mappers, and they are just wondering, why does 8-bit deathmatch not really use like sector brightness? Which, for people who don't know what that is, it just means like making areas darker or brighter.
The shortest, simplest answer, though there could be more complicated, is that Mega Man isn't dark when you play a Mega Man game.
Basically, the original goal behind Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch, like back when Mike was first making it, was just to make Mega Man in Doom. And Mega Man games aren't exactly known for their dynamic lights, or any sort of lights. So
At all.
the game just uses full bright and textures so that it looks like the Mega Man stages in Mega Man. Why we don't do it nowadays? Part of it is due to tradition. Like, this is just sort of what the maps look like.
Yeah.
And at least on a personal level, I don't really think it looks great in the setting that we are
Creating.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's quite similar to how a bunch of things in like core Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch don't use lowered alphas on sprites. Like a lot, like there are quite a few examples like Duo Fist Firestorm that do use that, but it's like very rare and usually pretty like quick. You don't really have any like long form fade outs, and that's very similar reasons. It's mainly a stylistic choice.
Okay. And then I have a question especially for Russell that I think he's going to enjoy quite a bit.
Oh boy.
Will MM10 Pum be reworked at any point?
It's not planned.
Not planned.
I am open for improvement on the map, but I would rather keep its basic design, its fundamental design the same, mainly because it is like no other map in Mega Man Deathmatch is going to do what that map does. And
Yeah.
that I think is unique and it has its use cases. Granted, I imagine that said use cases are not the most common place. So like that map is going to be absolutely dreadful in things like a crowded Saxton Hale server. But if you have a duel or a 3-4 person deathmatch, it would probably be quite effective in those situations. It is that effective. It is quite effective in those situations. I've had quite a lot of fun playing on that map in those situations.
I'm not Russell, but I can touch on this as well. The reason we have and went forward with such a unique design for Pumpman is because with as many stages as we've got, like Russell said, no other map is going to do what Pumpman does.
Yeah.
And it's the same reason we haven't changed Chargeman. Because personally, I hate Chargeman. Like, I think that map is awful to play on. But I think it's a very important map to have because that's Chargeman. Like, it's a train.
Yeah, it's a moving train. What other map is going to do that?
Right. And people do have fun on Chargeman. Like, those people are out there. They do exist.
Yeah.
There are people that like playing on that map.
We
Not
just
everyone's
haven't
going
found
to
them
like
yet.
on that map. Not everyone's going to like playing on that map. I've used this phrase for like class mods before, but I feel like if you like every single map in like a group of over 100, we're probably not doing a good enough job of
Making it
differentiating
like
them.
variety.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
the fact
I do think.
that,
Go ahead.
the fact that Pumpman is so polarizing, because I've heard people like it and I've heard people dislike it, usually to rather extremes. I think that that's the case is both interesting and not necessarily bad. But if we do any future work on it, like Russell said, it would retain the same basic idea of being this big, like, open tower.
Okay.
I think when judging maps, it is fairly important to keep an open mind, and like assess not just how you would prefer to play on said map, but also what situations this map could be fun in. Like a lot of people who I think look at this map and say they don't like it, look at it through a very specific lens, a lens that does not accept that sort of map. If that makes any sense.
And I mean, it's very like I kind of agree on that point because like not every map is going to be great for the very specific requirements.
It's like Flashman.
Yeah,
It will never change again.
I like to think of Flashman as the Mario Party of those maps. It's just kind of whatever happens, happens.
We love to see it.
Yeah. And kind of on the topic of reworking maps, are there like specific reasons that maps get redone? Like they brought up Pirate Man, which has been redone in every major update.
It differs.
Well, you go.
It differs depending on the map. I'll use Pirate Man as an example. Pirate Man as a specific example. It changed the first time because the person requested that their maps were removed from the game, and it changed the second time because the person who made the second map wasn't a big fan of their second map and wanted somebody else to take a shot at it. That one's a very simple. The creator is like,
Okay.
how about not? I don't like it. And if the creator doesn't like it, then it's like, well, then yeah, we'll make a new one. Usually, maps that get full reworks have been the ones that have been around since version 1. Not always. And
Yeah.
Version 1 was 60 plus maps made in a very short period of time, 90% of which made by Mike alone. And
By the way, fucking trooper.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Really, really amazing that Mike did that many maps for in such a short period of time for version 1.
But as it
Yes.
goes,
Crazy.
they're not all going to be winners.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Maps like Old Dive Man.
ooh.
Yay.
Spaghetti map.
Maps like
Old
Old
Dive Man.
Wave Man or Older Wave Man.
Oh.
And so a lot of those old maps changed because nobody liked them.
Right.
Raise your hand. Who liked Old Dive Man? No one. Okay, maybe there's one.
Freems, your voice
but
is
I would
faded.
Never say no one,
Fre-
but
Freems is being spaghettified.
Freeman has
gone
entered
distant.
a cave.
oh,
There we
fix
go.
my microphone.
The return of the king.
I'm not back. Now is it back now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I
You
guess
were
my mic
saying.
got unplugged. I don't know where I was. Maps were bad.
Now they aren't.
Now they
Amazing.
aren't. But and usually knee-jerk reactions don't cut it.
Yeah.
It took until version 5 for Dive Man to be fully remade. I don't remember the exact timeline of events. I don't think many old maps were touched outside of like adding walk stairs, which didn't
Yeah.
exist at all in version 1, by the way.
There
I
were
actually have
what?
I actually have a document that I've been working on that has a running list of changes to all maps that were made since version 1. I'm working on a legacy pack to release at some point due to be
There's-
determined. Uh, and yeah, no, a lot of maps didn't have not a single map had slopes, not a single map had walk stairs in version 1.
It was just
Everything
the aesthetic of the time, but
everything was
Jump
jumping.
stairs.
I remember that topic on the forums too. I also
The
remember
Mega Man
being against
stairs?
it.
no.
I am very like.
Controversial.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine with it now. That was like
9 years ago.
yeah. So
I think Mendez put it into a very good like position for me to take, where it's like one or two jumps is fine, but if I need like 5 jumps to scale something,
We're not changing Nightman.
Hot dev take, Nightman is fine because it doesn't really slow you down.
Nightman, you can jump 2 stairs at a time. You can just keep on holding jump, and you can get up there with relatively.
yeah. I'm talking about stuff like Gutsman though, like
Oh yeah, old Gutsman. Yeah.
Old Gutsman.
Yeah.
current Gutsman.
Old Gutsman didn't have walk stairs, you see.
Well,
Like
Yeah.
outside, like that cliff by like Tornado Hold. Those
Oh.
were all
Oh
rock
no.
once upon a time.
Oh boy.
We're getting a little off topic.
Yeah. Oh,
Usually maps get some time to sit, and Starman just wasn't generally popular over 6 versions of the game. So we're like, okay, let's try something new.
Yeah.
Pirate Man was a product of what I already mentioned, and 7 Wily 4 was a map
7
that
Wily
nobody
4.
ever liked.
I
But now we're sitting in an interesting spot, at least in my opinion, and we sort of touched upon this in the last question, in that a lot of the maps remaining are very subjective, whether
Yeah.
or not they're good or bad. Charge Man was mentioned. It's a train. It's kind of a straight line, but also it's Charge Man. I think of Dynamo Man a lot because I know that's the one that I see that's like really split. I see like half the people like really don't like Dynamo, but the other half of the people are like, yeah, Dynamo's fine. I'm like, well, if I change it, then we're gonna have
I
some
think
problems because
I
the
think
population.
Dynamo is fine.
I
Yeah.
think that really all you needed to do was plug up the pits,
That
which
did happen.
you guys did.
But so I'm not gonna like obviously never say never. I'm not really gonna expect any more completely major
Like map reworks.
reworks unless something happens or
Yeah.
something
Someone
stupid
backs
takes
out of
place.
the team and is like,
I think the
Um,
Robot Museum sucks.
Well, I'm not changing it because it's in the Mega Man 1 credits and also the Raw Authority artifact hunt. That's
Okay,
2 reasons.
I mean the Rothor artifact hunt that can be. I wasn't planning to completely replace it. I want to tweak it, but
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
fine.
how I want to tweak it yet. Anyway, we can move on.
all right, next question. We got 5 or 6 more, I think. All right.
okay.
Despite the new maps and weapons, it doesn't really seem like people are very interested in playing vanilla. Is this concerning to you guys at all?
Nope.
No.
Something we sort of came to
Thanks.
terms with before release was Mike likes to put it as the concept behind classes is just too cool. Because it really is. Like
It's very cool. It's very entertaining.
when you see people talk about, or rather, something I see a lot about 8-Bit Deathmatch core is the skins. Like people say, "Oh, you can play as any of the Robot Masters," and I go, "Yeah, kind of."
You're still Mega Man.
But you look at classes, and it's like, here you actually can play as all the Robot Masters.
Yeah, like here's Mercury who gets to go into his blob form and jump around and generally just be blobby.
Right. And I think that's like just hard to compete with.
Yeah.
And so we don't really try to. There's always going to be an audience for vanilla, and I don't
Yeah.
think it will ever be as large as classes, and that's not a problem. The goals behind the V6 weapon updates, all the damage buffs.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the forums in the Jonathan Metro posts, but it really was just to
Metro.
try and speed up the vanilla gameplay to make it
Yeah,
a
because
little more appealing to the general audience.
it was quite sluggish.
Yeah. And in general, I feel like that's worked out quite well.
Yeah.
Feedback has been pretty positive about that.
V6 definitely is my favorite version to play out of, all of them.
Uh-huh.
I like V1. That's not true.
I like the SGC demo. When Needle Cannon was busted. But
Oh, man.
no, it doesn't really bother us at all.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the people who want to play vanilla will play vanilla when people are playing vanilla, which sounds more confusing than it is. But
Yeah.
basically, if
There's a time and a place for it.
yeah, if you're the kind of person who wants to play vanilla, then just go play vanilla.
Yeah, no, you don't have to play classes.
It's not a
or
hard server
anything.
to host. It's vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say one of my favorite types of mod is one that just sort of augments the game for a specific type of play, rather than replace what's there. If that makes any sense.
yeah.
So like your Scorched Earth mod, which messes with TLMS, or like well, I can't really exactly say my Havoc mod, but
it was a mod at one point.
Yeah, I know.
It's just now the state of the game.
Yeah, someone wrote up a mod that takes the kind of the slower movement of Mega Man games, kind of turns it into that Quake style movement, which I think is, it's very cool. Not
style.
my style of play. I am bad at Quake. But it's like, you do you. You have these tools.
Right. But that's a bit off topic.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the answer is no. We're not worried.
All right. And then kind of jump away into a different kind of area. What was the inspiration for Eclipse?
Let me talk about the child. So obviously I am not Cutman Mike, but I am able to do a lot of the answering. So it's always been a constant thing throughout Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch, at least during definitely during version 3. It was mentioned in version 5 that we take what is garbage and make it good.
Yep.
Evil Robot was the epitome of that. That's why Quint is this ridiculous,
Yeah, that's
stupid boss fight.
Well, I mean, he's literally a future Mega Man.
And Evil Robot was so bad we just did it twice. That's not actually all of it. Mike was telling me that it was because V6 was always, since from the beginning, was going to be the finale of the game.
Yeah.
Mega Man 11 stopped us for a second. We're like, and then we're like, no, we're still going to do it. But and since it was the end, Mike was just like, okay, we need something as crazy as just full-size Gamma. People like Evil Robot. He's not fully deceased in our world. Now he could come back, eat Sunstar in the Wily Star, and you could also get in Gamma, the previous final boss, and have a mech fight, because that's kind of cool.
Like mech fights.
And I don't think this is part of the inspiration, but I really like that ever since Evil Robot was a boss, I feel like there's always been some guessing game with who's gonna be the boss, who's gonna be the final boss of this version, because it's turned into this weird oh, what's happening here? It was a Genesis unit, all three of them. That was wacky. What's Mega Man 9? The Mech Shark with Roboenza. Okay, and then everyone's expecting weird stuff, and it's okay, what's it gonna be? And it's you won't guess this one. Hear me out.
Try. You're not gonna.
What if I told you that the canonical 5-second character from Mega Man 8 merged with
doesn't
the
have a
Death
name.
Star. And also got a Shadow the Hedgehog OC name. And you
I'd like to
played the Punch Out.
I'd like to very quietly draw our attention to the meme Nini's just posted, which is quite good. That's really funny, Peg.
That was the OG. After that, Mike posted some concept art on the forums all the way from 2016 because this has been
Yeah, this has been planned for a
this
while.
whole time. Here's some real terrible news that's gonna shock all of you to the core. The only reason 8-Bit Deathmatch has a main theme was so I could remix it for the final boss.
I took no hesitation in pointing that out on Terminus's stream.
Mike was like, we need to remix something. I'm like, we need a main theme to remix. V5B, perfect. Put it in.
Run it.
We're already redoing the campaign.
That actually reminds me. This is an aside, but on the subject of remixing songs, Eclipse's theme has actually been in the game since the Roboenza cutscene.
The very first 2 seconds of the Roboenza cutscene theme is the same as Eclipse's motif because I started that song before V5D came out, and I was like, you know what? Let me do a little bit of something spicy. No one's gonna get this, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I didn't get it until you pointed it out. That's actually really cool.
It's just the first 4 or 5 notes or something like that. But it's cute. Design-wise, once again, there's concept art on the forums. There's a lot of...
I think the real concept art is right here.
different... Yeah, I mean, that is the OG concept art. He's a...
Wait, really?
Troll. No.
That would.
But it was always awesome. Evil Robot in the Wily Star. And one, how do you make that not look like the stupidest thing ever?
Yeah.
You just do make it look like the stupidest thing ever. It's
I mean, I think you guys did it. I think you guys did a pretty good job of it.
He needs to be punchable in Punch You, which was also a challenge. And there's a bunch of different drafts on the forum. Peg and I eventually sat down and sort of combined a couple of the concept arts into what we have now. I was pushing really hard for the alien tentacle legs because some of them drafts he's just standing on 2 legs. I'm like, this guy just looks like a man with a big belt.
He just looks like a dude.
I'm like, we need to be a little more alien. And Peg at it, he's 4 legs that are claws. I'm like, yes.
Never in my life would I imagine. If you told me, in 2016 when I first started playing the game, it's hey, you're gonna spray the final boss and it's gonna have toes.
I
hate that.
Oh no. Let's put fetish art when.
No.
First person to do that loses.
I'm sorry, you're now banned from cutstuff.net.
I don't even have an account.
This is my only chance to talk about Eclipse, so I'm going to talk about a couple of Eclipse things real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's another fun fact. So Evil Robot got his VRC6 chip in V5A. Once again, around the same time, because ResJet 1 made that, and Mike was like, I want this. And I'm being a jerk in the corner. I'm like, should we be adding a VRC6 chip? I'm like, it's not Mega Man. And this is after we talk about what V6 is going to be, and Mike was just like, listen, you could make a Sunstar remix. And I'm like, okay, Evil Robot's getting the chip. Let's go.
He just gave you a little crumb, and you were like, all right, I'm sold.
Sunstar remix? Yes, please. That song is so good.
Yeah, that Sunstar remix was good.
And then from there, it was just, the basic design was made. And while I'm not the artist, nor will I take full credit for anything, I will say I kept pushing Peg to do a lot of stupid things. I'm like, hey, make the eye in the cannon move. Make it be shocked when it gets punched. That's gonna look really cool. And I'm like, this guy needs a goofy laugh. And somehow he's the stupidest idea of all time. He's this edgy, I'm evil, I'm going to destroy the world, I've assimilated Sunstar. But at the same time, he's also this goofy Mega Man character.
This goofy, grimace looking dude. How did you make the laugh, actually?
Orange Mario made nearly every single sound effect in the game, including the laugh. And likewise, because the music is allowed to use the extra expansion chips that Family Tracker uses, Eclipse is allowed to use the extra expansion chips that Family Tracker uses for his sound effects,
Yeah.
which is able to make him, ironically, not ironically, sound alien, because that's what he is. So he's always this edgy idea, but he has enough goof in him where he fits in with
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Mega Man.
Feels like
crowd.
kind of could be a Mega Man boss almost.
And he is more dead than he will ever be in his life, because that's why you got to punch someone to the sun. Not only is it poetic justice, because Sunstar.
I remember playing this for the first time and kind of just like rushing through everything because I was like, campaign or whatever. And I get to this boss, I'm like, I was expecting it to be a slog, and I kind of get to the first like punch out, and I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then as I'm kind of like going through it, I get to the point where it's like, oh, I'm down, I'm beaten. Oh my god, it's Duo. He's giving me the justice energy. And then we got to the point where you punch him into the sun, and I was just staring at my screen, smiling like a goober. I am always the sucker for a good like explosive finish. That's why I play Guilty Gear.
He can't be more dead. He is.
You cannot be more. You literally punched him into the sun.
Yeah, he's definitely gone at this point. Totally.
Totally dead.
Listen, my biggest fear isn't Mega Man 12 coming out. My biggest fear is Mega Man 12 coming out, and Duo's like, "Hello, I am not only plot relevant, but I've brought my good friend Evil Robot with me." And
I'll be like, "Hello, I am Duo. Here is my arm."
I think
Duo died. Duo died
Okay.
in the Mega Man 10 chapter so that Eclipse wouldn't have an easy linchpin.
Yeah,
I
still kind of think Duo got shafted. I'm kind of mad about that. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that's pretty much the worst case scenario. Moving back to the Mega Man 12 question, if Duo is in it,
I will find ways to keep him dead.
I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Lore master, I'll figure it out.
What if he just like? What if it's not even like a notable like plot relevant appearance? He's just like, "Hello, I am Duo," and then he's just gone.
Then it won't be in the game.
That's easy. He won't be in the game.
We just skip it.
Oh, man.
But if he's plot relevant, that's so much harder.
Really fun.
I don't think they will, because they took out Proto Man and Base to make like 11 good for new people. So I don't think they're better. Now that you're in, here's Duo.
Duo's cool.
All right. Are we all ready to move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Kind of the final stretch. And this one kind of gets to a bit more spoiler heavy, some secret boss territory. So,
sorry, Peg, you've been denied.
What was Peg saying?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Peg.
It's really minor. So when I was being instigated into the team for the first time, right? Mike was giving me the plot details, and one of the first things he told me is, "By the way, Duo dies," and that made me really sad.
Dude, Duo's like the coolest Mega Man character.
Yeah.
Well, aside from Mega Man question mark.
Okay, but consider this. Consider this. Duo question mark.
I don't want to. We already
You mean Evil Robot?
No.
That's a
Okay. So Mega Man, who is a morally like good character, gets corrupted by the question mark. Consider that like Duo, who's just like this upstanding bastion of justice, just kind of becomes like a bastard.
Yes, Evil Robot.
The occasional trash can.
Could you imagine like Eclipse like does his dramatic intro that he does in his final boss theme? His head pops out and he's like, "On the scene!"
And he's got a scarf.
Oh man. But no, I just have this picture of like Duo in like a really bad scarf, and he like looks around and he just puts like garbage in the recycling bin.
No, the ultimate crime.
Oh my god. There's no justice in this world after all.
Oh man.
Okay, I think we can move on now.
Yeah.
Super secret things.
All right, and then like I said, this one kind of gets into secret boss territory. So, spoiler warning. Does the resuming? Oh, yeah. So does the resuming Doomsday test sequence and the test successful dialogue from Ra-Moon at the start and the end of those fights? Does that mean Maestro was created by Ra-Moon?
That is a really weird thing that you would notice.
I didn't notice it when I played it.
Sure is strange.
Yep. Real weird.
Depends on who you ask, really. The idea behind Maestro, my baby, has always been for the player to be able to like decide what they want to do with him, whether they want to include him or not. Although that is a little less possible in V6.
Yeah.
So whether or not he was made by Ra Moon is sort of up for interpretation. It can be taken one way and it can be taken others, basically.
Okay.
It's been
Yeah,
left
so-
vague intentionally.
Yeah, it's just kind of a quick answer to that question, so we'll probably hop into the next one. And
I always imagined Maestro as being like this sort of self-inserty character in the same sense as Doom Guy, in that they have an established design, but like how they behave and the kind of person they are is, up for
to you.
interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then kind of jumping on like fan and heavy quotation mark canon content. What like non-canon Mega Man content do you plan on including in future versions? The person
None.
who asked this question was personally hoping to see Rockman strategy.
I have some bad news for you, my Rockman strategy loving fan.
Rockman strategy is already in the game.
Uh-oh.
Take a better look at Landfront Ruins.
I'm sure they've noticed.
Well, I think they mean like
here's the part where I crush everyone's hopes and dreams. Mega Man 11, as of right now, is the only official expansion that will be coming to Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch. We are never doing Mega Man DOS, Mega Man Rockman Forte 2, whatever, Mega Man Rockman, yep. Rockman Strategy. It's not happening. You know why? Because that is the home for you fan expansions.
Okay.
If you want it, you have the power to make it, my friends. But
please consider.
Not for core. I'm not considering.
Rockman Soccer.
That's already in the game. Have you seen Wily's Skull Suit?
Wily's Skull Suit and the Gibbs came from Rockman Soccer.
Technically, all these games are represented.
Yeah, I think we represent every single classic game.
Wow.
Rockboard is a little up in the air, but you can
Rockboard's
say
iffy because just make a capture the flag map that's Rockboard or something.
You can say reggae counts.
Yeah, reggae is from Rockboard.
That's fair.
Reggae's from Rockboard. We got the clouds from Battle and Chase.
Yeah, the clouds in the Eclipse finisher, the clouds you move by are from Battle and Chase. So that definitely counts. Wily's suit is from Soccer.
We got the Rockman strategy design things in the Landfront Ruins.
Yeah, the Constellation droids.
The Rockman and Forte 2 robots are dead, canonically.
Yeah, they've been banished to the museum.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Fun fact, the entire reason they're in the museum is because I like their designs. And I was like, you know what?
They have cool
let's put them in.
Yeah,
so
I think...
we did.
Didn't I pitch that first? I don't remember. Maybe
I
did.
don't remember.
Because I'm the one who made the map, and I remember like fighting for it.
Mm-hmm.
I was fine with it because I wanted them to be dead.
Like I was just like, oh yeah, we don't have to make these like a full thing. I just want to have them in the museum because they look cool and like
just have them somewhere.
It'd be a nice reference to things that we're not covering.
So, I'm sorry, my good pals, but
Rest
it will
in peace.
not happen for core. But that once again, that does not stop you Mega Man DOS lovers at home.
Maybe once core is dead, I will become the helm of Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch 2.
That's not how that works. That's not how that works, my friend.
That's not how that works yet.
Also, because I didn't say it, and I am going to kill this horse as much as possible. Likewise, Mega Man fan games, no, not for core.
that one's kind of a given. Like
you would think that, but Mega Man Unlimited, you hear that name a lot around these parts.
Street Fighter Mega Man is a fan game, by the way.
No Mega Man 42. I'm out. Peace.
On the same subject, we're not doing Mega Man 16-bit deathmatch, and we're also definitely not like converting the X games into 8-bit or anything like that. Once 11 is done, and assuming 12 doesn't come out, that's pretty much it for the main expansions.
Go to sleep.
Peg, no.
Pretty funny, Peg.
Banished Peg. Use your video editing right now to banish Pig.
Oh, I'm dead.
What does A_mushroom
Is
do?
this real?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is real.
Wow.
Shoots the
They've
specified
got
amount of
functions for
missiles firing
everything,
mushroom
dude.
cloud effect, performing a radius attack.
Got him.
Why have I never known about this? I want to use A_mushroom.
I think it removes the target parameter.
I'm still going to use A_mushroom.
I'm stealing back the conversation.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm silent so you could easily edit. So I usually do maps and music, and not really anything else. So I'm going to talk about those two things only. Mapping was interesting because I did it because of the first jam pack originally. Whoa! Funny how that works.
Whoa.
I tried making smaller maps before. I made like a Joe Quint map 8 years ago. It was just a square because I'm like, oh, Quint's room is nothing, so the room would be a square. I'm so funny. Oh, I'm 12.
Pretty funny.
But it's just a lot of learning for mapping, at least. Just learning what works and what doesn't. V5A 9Wiley1 had like 3 drafts that you didn't see that were similar but not as good. And then people who already know that stuff are like, hey, why not try this and that? And it's like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing, but that worked. Yeah, I guess that's that for map. Music is a little more complicated because I like tunes. Let's talk about the music history because I don't know what else I'm supposed to talk about for this question. Give me a little piano trill. I started doing Family Tracker back in 2010 maybe. And that was only because I would play on my grandma's piano. I'd be like, hey, I hit the keys on piano and make a song.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty crappy, but then I'm like, I want to learn this. And it sounded like garbage for 6 years. And now it sounds a little bit less garbage.
Well, I mean, that's how music works, you know. I can
Just a
kind of
little
relate to
bit.
that as like
Um,
choir theater nerd, you know. It's like
and I made some Mega Man 7 covers, which is how I got into the dev team in the first place, because V5A was all about doing more with the Mega Man 7 content at the time.
Yeah.
And getting rid of the Rockman 7 FC covers for the most part.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to make a Quint Boss theme, which, oops, it sounds like Cannonball from Mega Man 02. How was I supposed to know? Whoopsie doopsie. But it's all learning, because if Temper Anomaly didn't happen, then Eclipse's boss theme wouldn't have happened. And that one's probably good. And by probably, I mean it is. I'm slamming the table.
It is objectively good.
It's objectively good. You will like it.
It's the only piece of music in the universe that is objectively good. Show it to your mother and she'll say that's
Show it
choice.
to your mother. Show it to your father. They
Show
will
it to your
say,
dog.
what are these chiptune noises that are rupturing my ears? Why, if you try to sing it, you have to go like... You can't do it. It's impossible. It's smooth the groove on the horn. I've gone on a tangent and I've lost my place in all of this. Lots of time is the answer to learning.
Honestly, it's pretty much the same for me. Like, I've spent a very long time like honing my craft, I guess is a way to word it when it comes to 8-bit deathmatch modding and like programming in general. Like, even in my day job now, I'm still a part-time like developer. Most of the time I spend is on QA, but I still do coding as my normal job sometimes, and it's like, it actually is because I spent so much time modding 8-bit deathmatch.
That's nuts.
Like, I started out modding 8-bit deathmatch in my free time in like high school, and then because I learned how to code by doing that, a lot of reading on the ZDoom wiki, a lot of toying with what existed in core. Eventually, now I have a job because of that, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Fun fact of the day. What's it called? My first project, though, and I'm mainly pointing this out because it's like, if you want to get into coding, just fucking start. It's not that difficult to
Yeah,
do.
just like go.
I wish there were better tutorials for Decorate, but my first project was a mod of Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch version 1D, I believe, which made it so that the weapons were just absolutely fucking bonkers.
Oh god, I remembered this.
Flash Stopper insta-killed.
What?
You insta-killed yourself and everybody in range.
Amazing.
I remember.
That's like the one thing I specifically remember.
I
Oh,
remember.
wasn't there? No, you go.
You did one for like 2A or 2B that had Hell Wild Coil, I think, in it. Or like you
Hell
shot
Wild
one
Coil.
Wild Coil and it was actually 50.
Yeah,
What?
no. Every time it bounced, it split into two.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You had a couple things that were like recursive.
Yeah, Thunderbolt was recursive. Scorch Wheel was recursive, and Shot Thunderbolt, which was also recursive.
Wait, I don't remember that one.
It crashed servers. It was great.
The Dark Ages.
All right.
What does Peg have?
Yeah, what's
So-
up, Peg?
Compared to the rest of you three, I've been here for the least amount of time, so it's a bit difficult for me to exactly say how I learn to do stuff.
Yeah,
My
you were-
learning process is just looking at stuff and saying, okay, I'm going to do that, and then I draw that.
You were top tier when we hired you, so I don't know. I don't know what your backstory is.
I don't know. I suppose I don't want to toot my own horn, but I suppose it's just natural talent when it comes to art.
Damn.
I've always just sort of had a knack for it, I suppose. So
Little
when it comes to
baby
programming, though,
little baby Peg says goo goo gaga. I rotate Saturn now.
dude, abysmal.
Man
Peg
came
was
out of the
born
womb
under-
rotating guts, man.
Peg was
Um,
born under a 3-wolf moon, blessed by the gods.
When it comes to my small programming contribution in Weapons Archive, which was Freem's idea, by the way.
Hell yeah! What a
Very fun fight.
what a weird combo of people to make a boss fight.
Yeah, like the weirdest people you see on the map card. Dr. Freeman and Peg. Like, what? That's not common.
I did none of the technical work. I just told Peg what to do and he did it.
Yeah, so a lot of the
Nice.
work behind the scenes was also by Mike. So most of the stuff there was just copy paste job and me confused, screaming ACS, DMing Mike, banging on his door, pleading for mercy.
Just Mike.
Mike, weapon archive stuck in the wall again.
Oh my god.
Mike,
Well,
what
it
do
is-
I do? I accidentally insta-killed Darkman 4 with a Lek Beam. Help.
No, that's intentional. That's intentional.
Oh, that's intentional?
That's a strat.
That's
You
a
might
strategy.
think. See, weapon archive is interesting. IMO, because he's very pattern based. People are like, I can't beat weapon archive, and I said, you forgot how to dodge dock robot. That's why you can't beat weapon archive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can kill him really quickly because he always does the same thing, depending which one comes out. Especially with Power Stone. People say, why is Power Stone this fight? It's Power Stone, and I'm like, if you ask me why Power Stone's in this fight, that means you have not learned the true potential of Power Stone in that fight.
That thing
Uh-oh.
does so much damage.
It's absurd. You can
Power
destroy
Stone
it.
just does a lot of damage.
You time it in the right spot, and like
Yeah.
Buster Rod is dead one jump in.
Rest in peace. He just dies.
He's just dead.
He
He
just
just works.
dies.
I could have sworn there was a robot pretending to be a monkey.
No.
This has nothing to do with the question, but
Yeah.
here's some weapon archive trivia because there's never any point where I'm gonna be able to say this. There was at least 10 seconds where Peg and I were talking about it, where we were having a big debate whether or not Buster Rod Archive should actually leave Buster Rod clones instead of weapon archive clones as the fake. Because on one hand, it'd be really funny, but it was also like, well, then then he just stands there for 20 minutes.
Would have been really funny.
It would have been funny.
It would have been really
But
funny.
I put all my jokes to having Mega Man ? Shrug on the TV screen, so it balances
Yeah,
out.
that's fair.
We give the
A
people
little
what
dish
they
of Chef
want.
John from Food.
Yeah, everyone has their default spread except for Mega Man Question Mark, who gets his Shrug spread because
That's
really that's
really
all
funny.
he is.
He just is the shrug.
Yeah.
That's why he's not a class, because it would just be the shrug and everyone would die immediately.
There's
It's the one thing that the weapon archive kept of him.
There's at least 5 seconds where I
man.
considered telling Peg to make Mega Man Question Mark archive say on the scene every time he jumped out. That would have been terrible,
That would have been awful.
but it would have been really funny.
It would have been very funny, but it would have been terrible.
Here's this is related to the question. Here's what you do. Here's self-learning. Here's my biggest tip. If you make a fan game, a game, whatever, you need to be able to learn how to draw the line between what's a joke
And what's like content.
and like what's a joke that is positive and what's a joke that is negative for your gameplay.
Yeah.
There is a difference, and recognizing that is
All right.
important.
And unfortunately, I think this is our final question of the night. But this is one I've been anticipating since this
Okay.
began.
All
right. How can I fight Strikeman with his true color?
Who is Strikeman?
So if you like, so this requires like multiple people. You got to go to Strikeman's stage, and everyone has to stand on top of one of the soccer balls, and then like each person has to face a specific angle. In like they're random every time you load the map too. Like you got to figure it out. A little jingle plays every time someone figures it out. And then you got to have more players, not the people on the balls. You have to have more players shoot each ball, and then everyone on the balls has to jump off onto a nearby platform at the same time. And then they all have to congregate in front of the keeper and shoot him once with the Mega Buster. And if you do that right, he'll blow up, and Strikeman in his true color will come out, and you fight him as a boss.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep, that's in V6 right now. Go do it.
Have fun.
Can we please add that in V7?
So, actually, on that note, I think we've mentioned this somewhere before, but the Easter egg in Mars's stage was originally going to be on Strikeman, because the keeper, the keeper's head, it was like Doom Guy's face on the HUD, where it goes and looks to the left and to the right, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cute. So how are we going to trigger this? And my suggestion was to do something absolutely ridiculous like that, until we realized that we have.
I sat down one day. I'm like, guys, we have a stage that's on Mars. Why are we all collectively stupid?
Yeah, no. They just told me to put the Easter egg on Mars, so I was like, yeah, okay, let's just make this in the stupidest way possible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how you trigger it, because I'm sure somebody's already figured it out. But also because that's part of the fun.
Yeah, it's figuring out how to like. Also, I will be very disappointed if V7 comes out and I get a bunch of my friends together to do this Strikeman thing and it's just not there.
You can do it right now. What are you talking about? It's a V6.
Oh, damn, you're right. Hey, you guys want to go fight Strikeman?
In his real color?
Yeah, in his real color.
The real answer is movie magic. Done. Okay.
Yep. That's the real answer. Strikeman super boss for V7. I'm starting a campaign.
It will not get funded. That's what
I want to see this. I want to see this as a mod. I want this on my desk by Thursday.
See, the real fun part is when someone puts it in hotel.
Oh, I really want that, actually.
That's a countdown now.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, like, Strikeman super boss.
Okay, whoever's working on hotel, please put something ridiculously cryptic in there for a super boss. I want it so bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, especially now that fucking V6 is out and fixed the ice wall glitch.
Ice wall glitch?
Okay. Sure, fun trivia time.
Yeah,
if you stood at 0064 on a map, if in bounds,
yeah,
and then dropped ice wall and then pushed it, when the ice wall died, you would teleport.
What?
Yeah.
Doom is
Um,
messed up.
and you could trigger this in Com Hotel, which resulted in some shenanigans. One of the devs added a boss out of bounds for it, and
Really?
it's a cursed ice wall.
Huh.
Com Hotel, if you're watching this video, leave a comment that says, "I love Strikeman."
Hilmer,
Yeah, the
maybe,
person
or Mike, maybe. I don't know who adds bosses.
That's how you start the boss fight. You get everyone in the server within like 3.5 ticks to post "I love Strikeman" in chat.
Everybody watching this video, comment "I love Strikeman," and
Yes,
Strikeman
do
in
it.
his real colors will arrive at your house.
Yes.
You'll get to fight him in real life.
Actually, if you go to the website www.twitch.tv/The Nebula Warrior /subscribe and subscribe to my YouTube channel using Twitch Prime, Strikeman will show up at your door. That's a scam. Don't do it.
We're subscribing to your YouTube channel with Twitch Prime. Is that what
Yes.
you just said to me?
Yes, that is what I just
Okay.
said.
You can become a member by clicking the join button at the bottom of this video.
Yep.
By the way, did you know that if you like go into a dark bathroom and say "I love Strikeman" 3 times, he comes out of the mirror with blood eyes and strangles you?
Hey Peg, where's that old damage? Where's that old damage sprite for Strikeman?
Oh, the old do you mean the one with like the bloody
Yeah.
eyes?
Yeah.
What?
I don't think I have that. Hold on.
Dang, I think I could. Maybe I could find it. Peg was taking out his anger one day.
Ah,
Let me see if
I
I can
see.
find it.
Strikeman and agonizing pain.
We were talking about why Strikeman was the worst thing ever.
CW body horror.
If I can find it.
That's true. I suppose while Freeves is looking, on the topic of Strikeman Easter egg, there's actually a remnant. I don't know. I think Molly posted her sprite sheet for V6 a few days ago. And there's actually a remnant on that sheet. There's a Strikeman locker with the icon of Sin's face. I think that was a remnant of that Strikeman Easter egg, the Doom Easter egg being originally on Strikeman. Which I thought
Yeah.
What I'm sad about though is that people found the Mars Easter egg so quickly because like everyone made a pact on like in dev, don't tell anyone about it. And then day one, Mars rules, and then a secret was revealed, and I'm so mad.
People find these things easily.
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't. It was me planting the seeds for people finding it. Like I actually like day one. The only thing I did when I played Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch was join on the Mars map towards the end of the round, and I specifically activated the Easter egg right when the last frag hit. So the only thing that was seen was a secret is revealed, and then everybody was like, "Wait, what?"
Hold on. Huh?
Dude, I was in DMs with Orange Mario, and he was like, "Tech, don't do the secret." I was like, "Okay, I won't do the secret. I wasn't going to." And then all of a sudden, in the middle of nowhere, I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
How do we end this video now? Are we just
Strikeman
trapped in
secret.
here?
Yes, go do it.
On Twitter.
Are we just trapped in here for all time?
Yeah.
We're not allowed to leave.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I guess at like this point, you could have like Gamma 2 punch through the window and kill me or something.
Owned.
Some non sequitur.
He's in the sun, actually.
Yeah,
Gamma 2 was sent into the sun.
I guess just have everyone lob projectiles at me or something. I don't know. Do a funny.
Jeez,
is
the
weird.
entire ending of Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch, like the last 4 chapters, are just everything going absolutely the worst for Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
Like everything goes wrong for him, and I honestly feel kind of bad, because like first you get him making his cool Roboenza virus, and he holds himself up in his tower, and then all of his robots just go in and fuck him up because
his
robots
swag
got Roboenza.
bunker.
His robots got Roboenza. So he goes to escape to the fucking Wily station at the top of his goddamn orbital elevator that he has for some reason.
So he could build Wily Star.
And then he gets beaten up there. And then Terra kidnaps him and steals Wily Star. And then Wily goes to, and then Wily Star gets eaten by a fucking Eldritch Abomination charge shot noise.
Imagine
And-
just like getting your
and-
entire space station stolen.
and then he makes a super mech, and that super mech gets sent into the sun. It's
Yeah,
destroyed.
I like that's the funniest thing for me to imagine because in no world am I sitting here like Dr. Light, Wily, and Kazakh thought that they'd end up in the sun at the end of the day. So Wily's probably banking on taking Gamma 2 back with him, like take
I
over the
can-
world with it. He's like, so where's my robot?
So
I can imagine I can imagine like he's like in the cruiser trying to find the crash spot, and he just sees Maestro, and he's like,
It's that fish from SpongeBob saying, "You what?
"You what?"
Anyway, let me go make some distress noises so I can pretend that you got punched by Gamma.
Oh no,
he's
you are being punched.
Gamma! Oh!
Ah.
Oh no!
Oh God!
no.
All my organs, they are
He's
on the floor.
dying live on
Delicious
television.
Oh,
organs,
God.
all for
My
me.
Where's
my
Strikeman? We
my
need him.
spleen.
Ha. Well,
Yeah,
unfortunately, this is not a place where we're answering questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I thought we were maybe gonna get 15 minutes out of this max. I have about 2 hours of audio.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
Got to trim it down, I think, though.
Oh yeah. Well, it definitely needs trimming
can
because we
take
got sidetracked a lot.
We didn't take any breaks in there for any products or services.
Make sure to
Well,
This video is
hey, I
sponsored
mean,
by Audible.
I got to shill my Twitch channel, so it's a win for me.
Hold
What's
up,
the
hold up.
outro?
I can get you a shorter one. I'll just go ahead and run through these questions again real quick. Are you planning to add Mega Man 11 chapter and fan-made chapter support? Yes. Well, wait, not that second one. 11, yes. That's the same one. How do you feel after reaching such a peak? It's cool. What is every dev's favorite weapon? One of them. Freems, what are your feelings on how the campaign has improved over time? I'm not Freeman, so I can't answer that. What can we expect future dev time to go towards if dev continues now that the campaign is finished? Better accessibility for multiplayer and modding? Question mark? Yeah. Anyone, would the future of 8-bit Deathmatch still be alive if Mega Man 12 were to be confirmed? Who knows? A question for all, what was the most agonizing part of V6 Dev? V6 Dev. Does the resuming Doomsday test sequence and test successful dialogue at the start/end of the Ra Moon fight mean that Maestro was made by Ra Moon? I don't know. I must say, I loved the game. My question is this... Oh, we already did that one. To the mappers, why does 8-bit Deathmatch never explore using sector brightness? Darkness is scary. Freeman, despite new maps and weapons, it looks like people don't like vanilla. Does that concern the dev team? No. Is there a reason why maps get redone? Yes. To our wonderful art team, great work on V6. This update brings in many new friends and foes. What challenges do you face moving these characters to 3D? Have you ever tried moving these? Have you ever tried it? If you have, you would know.
Shoutouts to the Nitro Man trucks actually on that topic because there are sprite versions of those voxel trucks and they are just we took the voxel, rendered it in different angles, and then drew the sprite back over it. To clean it up. So we had the voxel done for that first.
But
That's all?
yeah, all that was don't put that in the video.
Put darkness is scary in the video.
Alright,
That's a fun
I'm
line.
going to I'm gonna kill my audio.
Goodbye. Thanks.
Thank
for
you.
watching.
Thanks for
Thanks
stopping
for
by,
playing
everyone.
video games.
Yeah, thanks for playing Mega Man 8-bit Deathmatch.
Everybody comment, we love Strikeman. Down below, do it.
I hate Strikeman.
Die.
Kill
Shut
my
up,
family.
Peg. You're Canadian.
Kill pig.
Alright.
Strikeman would play Quake too.
Strikeman would play Quake too.
See,
Thank you. Thanks for hosting this. It was great.
Remember
That
when
was
I
very fun.
Yeah.
Alright. See you later, everyone. Alright.
See ya.